Sydney, located on Cape Breton Island in Nova Scotia, Canada, is a charming and scenic port of call that offers visitors a blend of rich history, cultural heritage, and natural beauty. Once known for its mining, Sydney has had to reinvent itself following the decline of its steel industry, which has been done so around its strong regional music and arts culture, as well as its tourism routes, particularly along the Cabot Trail around the Cape Breton Highlands. Situated on the eastern side of Cape Breton Island with a population of just over 30,000, Sydney was established in 1785 by British loyalists who fled the American Revolution. Named after Thomas Townshend, 1st Viscount Sydney, who was the British Home Secretary at the time of the city's founding. It likely won't come as a shock to learn that it lists Sydney, Australia as a sister city. However, you'll know which Sydney you are in when you arrive due to the iconic landmark of the world's largest fiddle greeting you on the pier upon arrival. Cruise ships arrive into the Joan Harris Cruise Pavilion. It is a large multi-floor building that offers a range of amenities including tourist information, gift shops, restrooms, and Wi-Fi. Even if you aren't straying too far from the port, the upstairs area has a restaurant where you can get a good lobster roll right by the port. There are also taxi services available right outside the cruise terminal if you aren't planning on taking a tour through your cruise line. Most of these will be operating as a per hourly rate taxi tour to some of the out-of-town sites. If you are staying local and wanting to be a bit more active, there are often bike rentals close at the port too. Cruise ships dock right near downtown Sydney. After coming through the port area, you're only a few steps away from the quaint downtown region. Whilst there are many interesting local businesses to check out in the immediate area, as well as some local sites, this is a port where we've always found through feedback of visitors that the best experiences here are had when checking out the greater region of Cape Breton Island. However, if you do prefer to stay local, here are a few suggestions. One of the first places you'll notice is the Sydney Waterfront Boardwalk. Whilst nowhere near as large as the one in Halifax, you can enjoy a scenic stroll along the waterfront with views of the harbour before heading up into Charlotte Street, the main hub of the waterfront district. Just note though, as of 2023, there was a lot of construction going on to develop the downtown area, so this may be still impacting visits here close to the time of recording this video. For those interested in the arts, a recommendation would be the Cape Breton Centre for Craft and Design. It features works by local artisans and offers various workshops and exhibitions. Here you'll find all kinds of ceramics, woodwork, art, homewares, and more. You'll also find in the historic district a number of interesting buildings. Once the home of a prominent merchant, the Host Heritage House is one of Sydney's oldest, constructed in 1787. The house shows the evolution of a wooden dwelling over 2 centuries. The on-site museum features displays on local marine life and Cape Breton history, and there is a gift shop with small antiques and collectibles as well as other souvenir items. Another option is the Cosset House. Built in 1787, this unpretentious wooden building was originally home to Reverend Runner Cosset, Cape Breton's first Protestant minister, as well as his wife Thankful and their 10 children. Now restored and occupied by costumed interpreters, the residence is furnished with period pieces based on Cosset's own inventory. And a third option downtown is the Old Sydney Society, which is a small museum featuring various displays related to Cape Breton County's natural and social history. As you can see here on this map, all of these visitor spots are only a few blocks away from the cruise port. That being said, Sydney is a great gateway to many of Cape Breton's top attractions, including the famed Cabot Trail, so let's dive into some of the out-of-town options. Cape Breton Island has such a wealth of sightseeing options that sometimes it can be hard to decide what to go and see. Here on this map, you can see where the port is located in relation to some of these destinations. Whilst there is more than just these options, we decided to talk about some of the most popular choices for a day visit to Sydney. The Cape Breton Miners Museum, located in Glace Bay, is dedicated to preserving the history and heritage of Cape Breton's coal mining industry. It offers visitors an immersive experience into the lives of miners and their families, showcasing the crucial role coal mining played in shaping the region's social and economic fabric. Visitors can take a guided tour of a replica coal mine, led by retired miners who share their personal stories and experiences. There is also a recreation of a 19th century mining village, including a company store, miners' homes, and a community hall. If you are visiting, just be sure to check their seasonal opening hours, and also if it applies to you, make sure to get their seniors discount. Next up, Bedeque is a picturesque village located on the shores of the Bredor Lake in the heart of Cape Breton Island. Whilst known for its stunning natural beauty, a key reason for visiting is the Alexander Graham Bell National Historic Site. Here, there is a museum dedicated to the life and achievements of Alexander Graham Bell, which features exhibits on his inventions, scientific experiments, and humanitarian work. It includes original artifacts, photographs, and documents related to Bell's work, particularly his experiments conducted in Bedeque. A trip here can also be combined with a boat tour on the Bredor Lake, and on a sunny day this can be a fantastic trip where you can learn more about the region's history whilst taking in the scenery from offshore. That being said, if scenery is what you're after, look no further than the renowned scenic drive that is the Cabot Trail. Spanning approximately 298 kilometers or 185 miles, it forms a loop around the northern tip of the island, offering breathtaking views of the coastline, highlands, and valleys. The trail is named after the explorer John Cabot, who is believed to have landed in Atlantic Canada in 1497. It is part of the Cape Breton Highlands National Park, and along the way there are wildlife spotting opportunities, great hikes, as well as local museums and restaurants. Just note though, based on the distance away from Sydney and the length of the Cabot Trail, it isn't possible to see the whole thing in one day. Often land-based travellers will spend 2 to 3 days on the trail, sometimes even longer, to take in the full experience. However, if this is going to be the only time you're visiting Cape Breton Island and you want to see at least part of the trail, it is very possible, either through a shore excursion or a car rental. And for history buffs, we have arguably saved the best for last. The Fortress of Louisbourg, located on the eastern coast of Cape Breton Island in Nova Scotia, is a meticulously reconstructed 18th century French fortress. It stands as one of the most significant historical sites in North America, offering a vivid glimpse into colonial life during the period of New France. Originally established by the French in 1713, Louisbourg was a key stronghold and thriving fishing port. The fortress was crucial for protecting French interests in North America and controlling access to the Gulf of St. Lawrence and the broader Atlantic trade routes. Louisbourg was the site of major battles, particularly during the War of Austrian Succession of 1745 and the 7 Years' War in 1758, both resulting in British sieges and captures of the fortress. The modern-day fortress is a partial reconstruction of the original, undertaken by the Canadian government in the 1960s and 70s. Approximately 1/4 of the original town and fortifications have been restored based on archaeological evidence and historical records. Staff dressed in period costumes reenact daily life, military drills, and historical events, providing an immersive experience. They provide demonstrations of 18th century crafts, cooking, blacksmithing, and musket firing. The site is typically open from May to October, so check in advance of your visit of the opening hours. Cruise lines often offer tours there, and alternatively, you could either rent a car or hire a driver to take you there from the port. So there are a number of options of things to see and do from the Port of Sydney, and here are some tips and tricks to help you maximize your time. The currency here is the Canadian dollar. You'll find that most places accept credit cards, and there is also an ATM inside the cruise terminal. Please note that while some places will accept US dollars, there will often be a 1-to-1 exchange rate. We mentioned earlier that if you are looking to get further into the region, on top of ships tours, there are also a small group of taxi tours available at the port. Here you can see the signage from the 2023 prices, which will give you a guide as to what you can expect for price points in the coming years. Whilst there are multiple car rental companies in Sydney, none of them are located right by the port. The best thing you can do here is book a car rental in advance of your visit. And most companies will actually come and pick you up at the port and take you back to their car rental office. Also, we mentioned there are quite a few stores for you to browse through right at the port, and if you do want to take home a taste of Cape Breton, we recommend the Cape Breton Fudge Company. So that is our introduction to the cruise port of Sydney, Nova Scotia. The town is quaint and charming in itself, with wonderfully friendly people and interesting local restaurants and shops. It also provides you that platform to get out and take in the amazing scenery and history this region has on offer. Now, if you've made it this far and found the information useful, feel free to hit the subscribe button below and also click the bell to be notified when we post new videos. Thanks very much for watching and enjoy your visit to Sydney.